Hey everybody, Rose at Cloud9 here, and today I've got a cool inbox review today. This is the MENG 48 scale all-new tool P-51D. There's quite a bit of fuss over this one because it is a fast cement-free assembly design. So they're not calling this a snap kit. But you don't need any glue to put it together, and that's kind of one of the things that they're boasting. So I was a little curious as to this when I heard about it, and I wasn't really that interested in it, but I was reading a couple builds, one in particular. I'm going to include a link to it down in the description. This build, it's a complete walkthrough of the MENG P-51, and this guy does a complete build through of it. I can't remember the website or who built it, so I apologize. But it's amazing and totally well done. Convinced me to go pick this one up today. So I'm glad I did. It's really, really cool. Plus, I wanted to build it as this one in particular. This past winter, I had a chance to meet an RCAF P-51 pilot. And he gave me some magazines and books and this postcard in here. And this is a P-51 from the 42 Squadron. It is a Canadian one. I double checked and found out it was actually involved. This one in particular was involved, or the scheme, I don't know this Mustang in particular, but this scheme was involved in World War II in 1945, and I'd really like to build this one. I think this is a beautiful scheme, and I decided to give it a go on this one, because it's a cool kit, and I feel it's kind of controversial and stuff, and I really want to see what this building is like for myself, that apparently you don't really need to use glue on it. Now it's kind of cool, you get two options, and so you have this red striped tailed one here, and it's also on the stabilizers as well. Bit of a red nose. It's not a Tuskegee P-51. But it's very beautiful colors. I really, really like this one. Now that modeling build that I was just telling you about, he built this one here. This is the second option, Short Fuse Sally. If you're going to be building this option, I highly suggest you read through his build. It was so much fun to read. I really enjoyed it. And he talks about that they used, this one here is from the air show model that they have out right now. So this one is not entirely accurate. It shouldn't have the stabilizer right here. It should just have a straight tail, but I think it's a great looking option either way. Now there is one more version of this kit. It is the Chinese version. It is an actual Chinese P-51, so I think you can only get that one online. Like, I think it's like a Chinese direct one. I haven't even seen this one on MENG's website yet, which is a bit odd. So anyways, let's take a look inside the kit. The Chinese one that you can get is really cool. It's a beautiful looking scheme. Almost worth getting that one, but since I'm going to build it as a Canadian one anyways, yeah. So here we've got all the stuff. It comes in this dark gray plastic. Over here is are the clear parts. I've got them in the bag still. So I'm going to put this to the side. We're going to start with the clear parts. Okay. So what's pretty interesting here is they've got this nice bridge on the top, and they've got the two different styles of the canopy here. So this one here, number 6, has more of the hump on the top, and number 5 is more aerodynamic. It's just more smooth. I don't think I'll be able to show that properly. It does have a seam line running down it, so you either, ignore it, or you're going to need a sanding stick and some polishing compounds to get rid of that properly. We do have the window of the windscreen here. It is so clear, it's unbelievable. Let me just show you guys. This is great clear plastic. Like, look at this. You can read everything through this. It's just so great. So well done. Now, of course, you're going to have a little bit of a bubbling effect because of the nature of the bubble canopy, but it's just fantastic. Here's the bulletproof window plate. This goes inside of the canopy there, underneath this, or inside the cockpit. And we do get only one style of gun sight, which is okay. as far as I'm concerned. And we do get a mirror, which is a bit odd because how are you going to attach the mirror without any glue? So there's a couple of things like that in this kit. There's a couple of instances like that, which we'll get to in a moment. So here's our first sprue. Now, kind of one of the heavy things on this kit is it does appear to have quite a bit of some slide molding detail on it, which is pretty awesome. Now, we do get quite a bit of really nice rivet detailing in the fuselage. It looks great. Some people don't like it. They think that the rivets are a bit too big. I don't mind it personally. I think they look pretty good. If you don't like it, you can just fill them in with putty. You know, much like normal P-51s had. Now there is a bit of interior detail here on the cockpit walls. Let me just adjust my light a little more. There we are. So there's a little bit on this side of the wall. On the other side, however, there's some, but you are going to have to put another plate on there, which is, you know, something we've seen with a lot of P-51s in the past, and as far as assembly goes and stuff. So here we have part of the front of the cowling, which, you know, this leads in here into the wing frame and the landing gear bay. I think that's pretty interesting how they molded it. So it's like a lot of the nose pieces are going to be put together and compacted quite nicely. It's nice and tight fit. This is a bit odd. This here is the landing light, and they molded that in gray plastic. I don't know why they didn't mold that one in clear. Just a little odd. So now here we have sprue C. This is the wing sections here. Again, there are rivet details all over. There are raised rivets where there should be raised rivets. One of the cons that I've seen out of this is they do not give you the option to not have the pylons on the kit. So you look how these are indented in there. So if you don't want to have the pylons, you're going to have to do some filling in there, maybe with a styrene sheet or something. That's a bit unfortunate. But most people put the pylons on there anyways. So if that's a pro or a con for you, that's completely up to you, the modeler. One of the things that I do find to be a bit of a con is that the flaps cannot be posed up without some reinforcement, some surgery. That was one of the things that was mentioned in there, and I'm not looking forward to that. I like having them up personally. I'm going to try for that. I'll see how that goes. So you can see a lot of the attachments here are just these smaller pegs, and they fit into these holes, but a lot of the detail in here just looks so stunning. Like, I'm absolutely thrilled with how nice everything looks on this kit as far as the exterior goes. And as far as looking at the interior of the kit, I'm quite interested to see how all this is going to fit together, because I've only seen people mentioning a few fit issues with the kit. So this is sprue D. So this has we get 2 bombs that you can have on the pylons. Here's some cockpit detail. This will fit onto the side. This is, I believe, the throttle controls and such. I don't remember. Anyways, we have a bucket seat. So we get an late style seat. We do not get an earlier style, which I don't think anyone's gonna really be upset about. Here we have like the floor for everything. There's, you know, very nice detail that you're gonna see there on a 48 scale kit. So there's quite a bit to the cockpit as far as detail goes. There are no seat belts for it. I've got those on order. I don't know when they're going to get here. But one of the things that a lot of people are praising this kit for is it is the first P-51 to have the accurate wheel bay, where this bottom here goes back like this. A lot of companies have molded it straight like this, and so they've molded it back like this. Now, the only thing I can ever see as a fault of this, it's not something I'm going to worry about, but some people might, is it does not have a lot of the plumbing detail that we've seen from other kit companies. So some people might want to upgrade that with a resin part. I've seen a couple that were like really superior. But for me, I think this looks great. I think this is fine enough. So I'm not that upset. I'm not heartbroken about it. So here we have sprue E. And this is really, really cool, and a bunch of the parts in here. This is one of the things that I love the most is the exhaust feature slide molding. They are all bore out, so you do not have to go and get a set of resin replacements where they're all drilled out or do it yourself. They've done it here, and they look fantastic. They're really, really nice. I think you're gonna have to clean a little bit of a seam line with just a bit of the brush of your X-Acto knife, and you know, you're laughing. Couple more cockpit interiors. We have the tires here. The tires, I think the tires look pretty good. They've got the diamond tread on them, and if you sand down the seam line, it's gonna look, you know, like a typical used tire of a P-51. So I think it looks pretty good. We've also got the instrument panel here. You do get a decal for this. There's not a lot of detail on it. You can see it's just a bunch of holes circles and stuff. So it's nice that you're going to get a bunch of detail with the decal. One of the other things that's really great is you do get both different versions of the prop. So here we have the here we have the one with the covers on them. You can see the covers right down there, and then here we have them without. So in particular, I needed this one. So that's why I didn't go for the Tamiya kit, because I want to build the Tamiya kit, but I really wanted to build this one, and the fact that it came with this was a huge bonus. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I did check this particular P-51 that I'm building had those ones on. Actually, it had both, so it depends which one I want to build. Now this is kind of one of the differences. I don't know what this big space is on the bottom here. I don't think it's for more parts. I think it might have had something to do with the molding. This is sprue B, which I already think I did sprue B, which would be a bit awkward. But here we have like the top of the nose cowling here. We've got the back of the oh shoot, come on brain, fail me now, why don't you? With the tail wheel, the doors are open here. This was a bit disappointing that you have to have the doors open. You can't just put them in there. Only for me, because it's going to be a bit difficult to mask in there, and I'm not really looking forward to that. We do have the doors closed, which is actually how the P-51 sits, and then the hydraulics slowly fall down. But yeah, they close up like this, so they're more aerodynamic, and they only go down when the wheels are being retracted. There's a lot of, you know, places where they're always down. But anyways, not a lot of people worry about that. I'm not going to be one of them. So we've got some more interior, got some more detail for the interior of the wheelbase there. It just, again, it all looks just really stunning. And I just really can't get over how nice it all is. And it's just weird when you're looking at this, because it's like it's not supposed to be glued. Like, you don't have to glue anything, which is just, you know, really kind of bizarre. So we do get here these, apparently with the guns on them, apparently these parts don't fit as well. We do get two different style of drop tanks. I don't remember where the other ones are, but these are the paper 105 gallon, I think, 105 gallon, if I'm not mistaken. And the other ones are 75. Anyways, this is kind of one of the differences between this one and if you're building the Chinese version of the P-51, is you'd be using this antenna and this aerial mast on top of there. So this is one part that you're not going to be using. Other things too here is you do have the two different covers that go on the front. So one has all the little holes there, and the other one is solid. So yeah, it looks all really, really great. Really, really happy with that. We have the decals. I'm going to leave them in the bag. They are cartograph, made in Italy. And they look good, but they do have some errors in them, I'm afraid to say. This was one that I thought was really funny. Pilot Captain R.E. Turher. So it should say Turner, but it is Captain Turher. So yeah. One other thing I noted on here, it's a bit odd, is they make this as I'm gonna keep calling it a snap kit only because I can't think of anything else better to say. But they're missing some of the decals for both options. Like, you get the red bands here, which is really nice, but there's also yellow that goes with these things. You don't get any of the yellow. There's a D-Day stripe that goes around the other option, and that's not in here as well. So it's a bit odd that it feels like some of the decals were left out, because it's actually a pretty complicated, paint scheme for something that's intended for younger modelers that want to have, a nice looking kit. All that aside, they look great, and I'm not going to really be using any of these except for stencils and a couple of the other ones here. So, last thing, instruction book. The instructions look great. I really like them. They've kind of they kind of feel like Tamiya, the Tamiya P-51 in 30-second scale instructions, which is a bit interesting. They use, what do they use again? Oh yeah, AK Interactive paint color suggestions in here. So yeah, I'm not gonna be using a lot of these anyways. But the instructions are really interesting. They're very nicely laid out. I really like that. There's lots of little places for painting and stuff like that. Like, they tell you what colors to use. That's all laid out, I think, very well. There's a couple things. Oh yeah, to have the air exit flap open. This is interesting. Here, in step 9, you actually have to glue this in here. So it actually tells you that you have to glue these parts in. It's a bit odd, eh? But looking through these instructions, they're very clear. I don't think I'll have any problems with them. They look just great. The decal and stencil guide here, painting guide rather, is just, it's really nice. Here you can see those yellow stripes that go down here and down the fuselage. Like I said, it's just a little interesting that they never added any of those in there. And then yeah, the D-Day stripes, the tail markings, not a big deal, but it's just a little odd when they added so much else, so much more into the one scheme. So those are the instructions. Now they have you, yeah, if you choose to install this part, please glue it, and that's for the mirror on top there. It's a little odd, eh? So there are a couple pieces that you need to glue. Now, if I remember correctly, this style of back is very similar to the 30-second scale Tamiya one, where you put the window in and then you put this on top. So I believe that the window is meant to be posed open or closed, so you can have it open or closed whenever you like. So it is a movable part, which is quite interesting. So I'm just going to put all these parts here. Final thoughts on the MENG P-51 Mustang. I think that MENG is trying something really interesting here. If this is a bit weird, because again, they don't say it's a snap kit, but you push all the pieces together. But what I've seen, a lot of people are really satisfied with the fit of this model. Now the problem is, I don't exactly see who the target audience of this kit is, because this is an expensive model. Now when you compare it to the Tamiya and the Revel P-51s, they are much less expensive than this thing. This is a pricey kit, and I cannot see anyone going out as a youngster and wanting to really spend so much money on this kit when they could spend $15 on a monogram Revel kit, or $25 on a Tamiya one, and they'd have a really nice model. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the kit. It's just I don't exactly understand who the target audience is when the kit costs so much. It would, like I said, it would certainly be out of my price range as a youngster. But I think it's really great. I think it's interesting that they're trying something new. You know, we've seen a lot of this with Bandai kits that you just basically need to clean them a little bit, cut them off the sprue, clean them, and put them together. So I think that's kind of where they were leaning to, but with their price that comes with the kit, that's a bit too much. I think they're asking a bit too much for it. Actually, I think they're asking too much for it. I think for someone who's built a couple kits that wants a really nice P-51, I think this is going to be a really great kit for the rest of us. But again, that price tag is pretty high. Now, there's some other people that are going to be saying, well, why should I buy this kit when I can wait in a little while and get the Airfix kit, or I can wait next year for the Edward kit? Now, for that, I don't really have an answer for you. All I can say is I really want to build this particular P-51 right now, and I was really entertained by the idea of testing this kit. I'd seen a lot of people talking about it, and I just really wanted to get my hands on one and see what it was all about. I'm glad that I did, but it is pricey, and that's the one thing that I'm really not excited about, because there's no way you're gonna buy this for a kid. And you consider $50 what you can buy as far as Bandai goes, and there's probably a lot more kids that would enjoy that more. But for the rest of us as modelers, is this one worth buying? Definitely yes. I think this is a beautiful model. I'm excited about the decal options. I think these are great options. They're very, very colorful. They're very lively. The nose art on them is great. And I'm just really excited to see how this works. You know, I built the MENG little cute series plane, the little Heinkel. I did that one last year. I really, really enjoyed that one. I thought the fit of that was incredible. I don't think I had any fit issues with that kit. So that was kind of one of the things where I was like, I gotta buy this one to see what it's like here. And I'm glad that I did, and I'm really, really excited to be able to dig in and dive in and build one of these. I think you guys will be too. I think this is going to be a really fun model for a lot of people, but again, it depends on what you want. If you're going to hold out for the Airfix or the Edward one, then I would say do that, because I think those are going to be equally as good. And I'm interested to see what they're going to be like compared to this one, because there's a lot of great features in this and a lot of great details. And yeah, as soon as those parts get in, I'm going to be starting on this one. I'm going to be pretty darn excited about it. So thanks everybody for watching. I'd love to know what you guys think of this kit in particular. Is this fast cement-free assembly design something that's interesting to you? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? I'd like to know. And in general, just what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and please go check out the description. I'm going to include a link, like I mentioned before, to that blog that I read where they did the whole build-up of this thing. It was fantastic. It was a beautiful read. If you're still unclear of this kit, go read that blog, because I think you might change your mind, and you'll be like, I have to have one, because it certainly worked on me. I'm glad I did. It's great. It's beautiful. I love it. Thanks for listening in and watching this, everybody. This is Rose the Cloud9. I'll see you all later. Take care.